Wow. See, this is why I keep Hav around. Plus, if I didn't have Hav here, it would be me just ranting into the microphone about comics all by myself. I did not
But
even.
you'd have a back and forth with yourself, which would may be entertaining to hear one
No, I
day.
wouldn't. Not as far as you know. You haven't heard the
Okay.
test pods.
Oh, ooh. There's going to be some deep cuts of the test podcast. Which other give in
Did
this?
you did you read this?
No, are you talking?
Oh,
Well,
you didn't.
okay. I don't want
Okay,
to.
Hav did not read this comic. Hi, and welcome to Hav and Charles Talk Comics. I'm Charles, and I am here with my friend Javier Gonzalez, and we are going to talk about The Nail and Old Man Logan, a Wolverine arc that actually they decided to bastardize and make into a movie. Hey, Hav, how you doing?
I'm good, Charles. How are you?
I'm doing great,
Hey,
man.
don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel.
Oh no, I loved Logan. I did. I just had a conversation with somebody today, just right off the bat. I mentioned that we were doing our podcast, and she says, "What are you going to talk about?" And I told her, and she said something. Oh, and I've seen that. I've seen Old Man Logan. I was like, "Oh, so you've seen Logan?" And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, well, this is kind of part of the comic thing that led into that movie instead of that's the precursor.
Yeah, because I don't think this whole backstory is part of that movie
Oh no,
universe.
not at all. No, that's not part of the Fox Wolverine thing. Plus, that was kind of a standalone movie that they did there. It wasn't even.
Yeah.
It wasn't part of that. I know it was officially the third of the Wolverine movies, but it wasn't the same.
No, it was good. I enjoyed it. I mean, as much as you
Yes.
could enjoy it, I guess.
Well,
It was
yeah.
a good movie. Hard watch.
Yes, it was a very good movie. I have watched it more than once and quite enjoyed it. So it is true that you can make a dark comic book movie that I will enjoy. DC just can't do it. Someone told me I had to watch Justice League, the Snyder cut, because I would enjoy it. He said it was really good.
I'd be curious to see what your thoughts are after you watch it. I don't know if I think the same as your friend that told you that.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know because the same I was talking to this same lady that I work with. This fellow's a rep for that comes in, and she was asked about started watching Justice League because she was catching up on her movies, and then she was like, "Wait, spoiler alert, Superman's dead in this?" And then she realized she had missed some stuff, so she was asking me what she needed to watch first, and I was like, "Okay, you might want to you could start with the Superman one that I blank on the name
Man of
right now.
Steel. Man of
You,
Steel.
you could
Man
start
of
with
Steel.
Man of Steel. Then I said, then you can stop and watch Wonder Woman and then be done unless you want to watch Aquaman. And then I was like, okay, that's fine. Then you can watch Batman versus Superman. Or you can just start with Batman versus Superman. You know where Superman comes from. You've seen a Superman movie. But yeah, we're jumping right into Justice League without watching anything.
That could be jarring.
Yeah, and how will you know that both their mother's name is Martha?
Oh God. Yeah, there's that too. It's look, I know we've talked not on the podcast about this. I'm sure there are all sorts of people second guessing at DC and Warner Brothers and all that group and just looking at what's going on with the MCU, Marvel, Kevin Feige, wondering how the heck did we let this happen? How do we get so far behind them when we own the properties that are the granddaddies and for everything, Golden Age and on.
Well, not
And
Golden
I
Age
have
and
some
on.
thoughts.
Because Silver Age, starting in the Silver Age with Marvel Comics has been consistently whipping the shit out of DC since then. The cartoons
With some, I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
oh, you're fine. The cartoons I remember enjoying more. Everybody talks about, oh yeah, we watched the Super Friends. I didn't really like the Super Friends. I swear the only season I remember was the one that annoyed me the most, which is it was all the Wonder Twins.
Yeah, I liked them. I like the Super Friends.
I
I'm a
did not
little
like the
younger than
Super
you
Friends
too.
as much as I like Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends and the Incredible Hulk.
Like the TV show or
No,
a cartoon that
they
I'm blanking on.
you didn't see the Incredible Hulk was at the same time. Some you would have a Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends, and then you would have the Incredible Hulk.
I don't remember the Incredible
Dr. Bruce
Hulk
Banner,
cartoon.
belted by gamma rays. Really? Okay.
Nothing.
All right.
Nothing.
We'll have
No,
to.
and well, yeah, and you're right. Generally speaking, I think yes, for the most part, since the advent of Marvel and Stanley Kirby on everything in the early days, they pretty much consistently been on top. But there's been some peaks where DC, especially in the dark, gritty '80s, did well and competed pretty evenly with Marvel. But yeah, so no, my thoughts on the movies. We just tangent wise, but hey, why not?
There's no rule
My
says I
thoughts
can't
are
lead in with talking about something completely different. I make the rules.
there are no rules.
Yeah.
There well, or that, but there are no rules. What I think they did at DC was they saw Marvel do what they did methodically and well for the most part, leading up to Avengers, the first Avengers movie, and said, ooh, we need to do that. And they tried to cram into 2 or 3 movies, really 2. I mean, Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and then boom, here's Justice League.
Yeah.
And they tried to do in 3 movies what Marvel took, 7 or 8 movies to do, or 6 or 7?
At least that, yes. They just tried to cram everything together. And if you're going to do something like that, they made the mistake of only introducing in full movies the 2 characters that really didn't need any introduction.
Right.
I mean,
I think everybody knows.
Yeah, Superman and Batman don't need you to tell me. We might have needed a little something about Aquaman.
Aquaman, more about the Flash, more about Cyborg and Star Labs,
Yeah.
and his dad, and the Mother Box, and
No.
what the heck that is.
No. We need less about the Mother Box.
So, yeah. So, by the way, don't worry. If you like dark, then,
I'm going to love the Justice League.
the Snyder cut is long and just dark, and it's look, that kind of let me say this. I really thought highly of, and still do, of Watchmen, what Snyder did with Watchmen. But guess what? That was a dark story. It was gritty. And that's the way he made it. Superman, Man of Steel, same filter on the camera that's all gray and dingy and dark, and to me that's just not my bag. So there's that. Of course I'm still enamored with Christopher Reeve and Superman 1 and 2.
Well, that's because who Superman is. We'll get into that, and because now we can segue into The Nail, which we read.
Yes.
Which is an Elseworlds tale?
It sure is.
Okay. Yeah, it's in its own little universe. It is basically a Justice League story. The premise came about with the whole, for the loss of a nail, the horse was lost, the messenger didn't get there, the war was lost. So for the lack of a nail.
I have the whole thing right here. Do you want to hear it real fast?
Sure.
For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the knight was lost. For want of a knight, the battle was lost. So it was a kingdom was lost. All for want of a nail.
And that nail? Superman.
Correct. This Elseworld, you quickly figure out there ain't no Superman.
It's got every other hero that you want. And this is kind of late stage Justice League. They've been around for a while. There's definitely there's been crises. They've been battling. They have been doing all sorts of things. We've reached the Watchmen stage of the world where they're trying to really get rid of the superheroes. There's a big anti-immigrant thing going on from the Trump administration. No, I'm sorry. Wait, no, from the administration. They've said all of these heroes are clearly aliens. We have proof of that, and they're here for nefarious purposes, and something has to be done with that. They're going to build a space wall. Actually, they do build a space.
Right.
There is a space wall.
They actually do. There's a space wall involved.
So,
at one point, and of course, leading the charge. Oh, go ahead.
Alexander Luthor, better known as Lex, and he is leading the charge, and he is not the president in this. He is the mayor of New York. Is that correct? Not the president of the United States?
Well, Metropolis, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot they have a fake name. I was reading, I think in that one, when they talked about Gotham and Gotham's 5 boroughs, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Okay, uh-huh. Yeah, they stuck with that. But, yeah, and of course, Lex Luthor has come up with this way to keep Metropolis safe. It does not have its own champion, like Gotham has Batman, and other cities have Green Lantern and Flash, etc., and always forget which cities they go to. So Lex Luthor
Central
has this
City.
super.
And something else.
There you go. Star City, maybe. Anyways,
Star City.
maybe
Yes.
that's Green Arrow.
Oh
But
yeah, that's Green Arrow.
and well, the right hand man of Lex is none other than Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen, everybody's favorite sidekick.
Exactly. So, and let me just say off the top, this is written and drawn, I think, with inks by somebody else, but by Alan Davis, who has I think, a very distinctive art style that you can pretty much tell it's Alan Davis when you see the art.
He wrote and drew it.
He did.
Wow. See, this is why I keep Hav around. Plus, if I didn't have Hav here, it would be me just ranting into the microphone about comics all by myself. I did not even.
But you'd have a back and forth with yourself, which would may be entertaining to hear.
No, I wouldn't. Not as far as you know. You haven't heard the test pods.
Ooh. There's going to be some deep cuts of the test podcast. Sans me. That could be interesting.
Okay. Now I am sorely tempted to just do a test podcast like that just for the heck of it.
Yes. I think you kind of, well, at least, like, you got to at least do like 5 minutes or 10 minutes of it and see
of course it's
how
gonna
that goes down.
I'll have to do a made-up comic, I think. I can't be something. Maybe my Just Us League.
Maybe.
Yes.
What
Okay.
was I going to say? Shoot.
I'm sorry. I sidetracked you. We
No. I should point. I did suggest this. This was my suggestion for us to read out of the two that we're reading, and I read it back when it came out. Quite frankly, I confused the ending of this with an animated DC animated universe thing I saw. So I quickly realized I did not remember a lot of this from back when I read it, which was back in the late 90s, 98 when it came out.
Was that the animated one where Superman was trapped in a bunker and he was depleted and skinny for a minute? And I had read the Nail in the last year or so. I just could not remember any of it, and I was conflating that. I kept waiting that giveaway, and then when we get to the giveaway, I was like, oh yeah, that's this one. And I'm like, what the heck was with because he was in a bunker and Superman comes out and he's just this. I will say that cracked me up more than this one. I loved, by the way, I really liked this reveal, but I loved when he came out as just this basically tortured alien prisoner who is, well, about as thin as I am. Yeah.
And in a cage.
Yeah.
Literally an illegal alien kept in a cage. Mm-hmm. So that was the animated thing. This has a different reveal that we'll get to later. I'm not going to give it away right off the top.
Well, I was going to let you. I'm surprised you can give the other one away. I almost did it just to spoil your fun.
Which one? Which other one?
Oh, wow. You don't even remember what the other giveaway is. Okay, cool.
Which other giveaway? In this?
Did you read this?
No. Are you talking? Well,
oh, you did.
Okay, I don't want to.
Hav did not read this comic.
Well, I'm not sure it's that big of a reveal, but we'll get there. So okay. Jimmy has this tortured history of trying to be a super.
Well, he keeps getting infected by, he's been Elastaman, he's been...
Elastalad.
Well, okay. I aged him. I'm sorry.
Turtle Boy. I'm sorry, I don't know why that cracked me up. Turtle Boy. Come on.
That's pretty funny.
Red Devil at one point, and then he just goes anti-super. Oh, I didn't know. I don't even remember what he looked like. Was that a Native American thing?
No, that was a joke because... he has red hair. Sorry, it was a ginger joke.
Oh, because of your thing with redheads.
I don't have a thing with redheads. I'm just saying.
I used to make some jokes.
Yes, you're
that were offensive.
Yes.
I used the G word.
Yes.
I don't do that anymore.
Around me.
Yes, if you're around, I only do that to people that I think aren't, don't know a G word. I don't know. Anyways, gosh. We're just tangents all over the place here.
I'm sorry. Let me ask you, well, I'm just curious. Do you want us to do some kind of linear book discussion type thing on these, or do you want to have fun like a conversation has?
We can do it. You're doing conversation.
I'm teasing you.
I'm going high voice.
It's okay.
Contest. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm being weird and goofy. What were you talking about?
I mean, this is very serious, man. It's comic books.
It is.
And this
as you like to say, picture books.
It's just picture books, Hav. I don't know if I'm going to get the reading, but how did you read all of those? It's picture books, Hav.
It was 2,300 pages long. It was picture books. I did it in half an hour.
Well, let's not be silly. It was 297 pages, and I did it in 45 minutes.
There you go. Yeah.
They probably took me longer than that. You were going to ask me if I enjoyed it? Was that what you were going to ask?
Oh, I was going to ask. Just, hey, did You said you'd read it without my prompting earlier this year?
Yeah, at some point I had come across it. I don't remember if I got it from the library, and I don't know if I finished all of it the way I did this time, but I did get to the Superman reveal, and I do remember enjoying it. I'll be blunt. Some of it is so derivative, and it has so many of the things about the Justice League that I don't really care for, including the New God stuff. I just don't. I legitimately don't get the New God stuff. It does not interest me. So I'm just okay. Kind of with the same thing with Thanos. I want to destroy half the universe. At least in the comic books, he wanted to kill all those people because he was fucking death. And I don't mean like he was death, and I'm referring to it as that. I mean literally, he was trying to fuck death and to
Lady
impress death.
Yes.
To impress her. He was murdering all of these people, and the Infinity Gauntlet was going to help him do that at wholesale.
And like I pointed out, his motivation in the movies and the MCU with the all the stones and the Infinity Gauntlet, he wants to eliminate Half-Life. If he had that kind of power, he could have just doubled the resources.
Yes.
Problem solved.
Yes.
But of course, he chooses to kill half the universe because he never thought of that, or nobody said, "Hey, sire."
Well, we can also get into the whole thing. Overpopulation, quote, is a problem because of resources. It's not really because there aren't enough resources. It's because generally a group of people, I don't know, let's call them the wealthy, refuse to do anything to make sure everyone has something, because it's more important that they have more.
Right. Distribution
Yes.
is the issue.
This has been your moment of socialism. This is your moment of socialism, brought to you by the Public Library. The Public Library, where you can read Karl Marx's book for free.
And the Public Library, brought to you by socialism. You're welcome. So,
amen. Well done. Take my joke and you're like, no, I can make this better. And you did, sir. You did. You made it better.
Thank you. I'll be here all podcast. Tip your waitresses. So yeah, derivative. You mentioned derivative. Of course, yeah. It's the whole backlash against the supers thing. There's that it's derivative of that. It's the. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
It was fun though. I did like it. I did not get to that point because I was saying all the things that I found problematic about it, but I enjoyed reading it. I enjoyed having read it. It was worth my time. Maybe not worth my second time, but I had to read it a second time so I could, clearly I didn't remember that much of it. As I was reading it, it was coming back to me, but it did not make enough of an impact the first time I read it that it was going to be something like, oh, I need to read this again.
Yeah. No, and I liked it too, but it's not. I don't want to sound so negative. It's not it's not super different than some other things, but it is different. In some ways. And just going back to the beginning, speaking of, it's called The Nail. The Kents on the farm are about to go, make a run to the town. There's a nail in the tire, and they got a flat, so they don't. And then Kal-El's ship crashes.
What did they do instead?
Yeah, they decided to go have some fun time together, maybe. I think. It
was heavily implied. I was just like, wow, all right. Oh, I could change the tire or alrighty then.
Mm-hmm. What do I want to spend my my energy on here? Okay. It's not a hard decision. And then, but the Kents being the Kents, we're talking about the story. Mm-hmm. You find out at the end that given where the crash happened, that there's a huge facility built around the crash site or on top of it, and they're trying to figure out what happened to the baby or what they think is a person that was there. And then that's where you find out this whole thing about every super metahuman in the DC universe is usually what they call them, maybe two. They're taking them there. They're quote unquote studying them because they're supposedly all aliens. Of course they're not. And the Kents are part of the, I guess, kind of the resistance trying to help out these poor superheroes and metahumans, and you find out they're a safe house.
Yeah, but when you do meet the Kents, they show up there. There are superheroes there, including the Elongated Man. He was there. Beast Boy was there, which I found kind of interesting because then Beast Boy was off with the Doom Patrol in a whole nother thing. So, are there two Beast Boys in this one? Because
I don't know.
Do you notice that? Did you notice that? Because that one I was like, wait,
I think maybe it maybe implied that he was captured. At
Okay.
one point, maybe. I don't think
All
there's
right.
two Beast Boys. I think maybe he was captured, studied, and then he got out. Maybe I don't
Well,
know.
no, but he was at the Kent's house, and then it didn't seem. I guess it could have been enough time later that he was with the Doom Patrol when we were having the big fight. I guess that's what it was, because it was all over.
Maybe, or see,
It
and I
just
thought it
seemed
was reversed. I thought he was with Doom Patrol first, and then he's at the Kents.
no, he was
I
at the
don't.
Kents because they didn't. The Doom Patrol has the big fight near the end with the Nail 2 in that second half of the comic.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
After
You're right.
after we find out that Clark Kent was raised by the Smurfs. I've never seen a crossover like that in DC, but it was fascinating. They just painted
It
this
was
giant
weird.
man blue.
Yeah, wear the white hat and everything, and just it was weird hearing him talk with everybody else using the word Smurf all the time for different things.
It was very weird.
So, of course, well played, sir. Pulling me off sides all the time. All the time. You find out, if you haven't read it, you should. It was good. I don't know if if you want to talk any about the lineups or because there are a lot of like any book like this, comic like this. There are a lot of characters.
There,
and
there are
of
too
course
many.
a lot going on.
I agree. There are too many characters in this. Green Arrow is in this. We find out Green Arrow was in a giant problem at one point, and one of the big fights that went badly because they didn't have Superman, their big heavy hitter. He gets very badly injured, and he has become a shell of the man that he was. And he goes off, and what's her name? Oh, bloody hell! One of my favorite characters, Canary, Black Canary, has started another group called the Outsiders, and she wanted him to come in as a tactician, but he decided he couldn't do that. He didn't want to be anybody's mascot. And
Right, I wrote that down too. He said he'd be just a glorified mascot.
yeah, and he is a proponent to getting rid of superheroes. They're bad, they're awful. We can't have them.
There's no accountability.
That's right, and he would know what he's talking about.
Yeah, and and then in the second half of this, which again, the collection we read did not really do a good job of delineating. I mean, after the big reveal of Superman, who by the way was not a Smurf, of course, he was. You find out the Amish took him in, and he's raised Amish and is secluded.
And what the way that happens is they're doing things to make it look the big bad, who you're obviously going to assume is Lex Luthor, is doing things to make it look like all of these superheroes are doing bad things. So they're literally setting them up. They set Wonder Woman up to look like she blew up a building and murdered a bunch of people.
The White House, the president.
Oh,
right?
That's right. Yeah, sorry. Yes, it was the White House. And they take her and they do this. This is over and over and over again. And then they're going to have a big battle like you do. And that battle takes place for once, not in Metropolis or Gotham. It's taking place in Kansas. Smallville, Kansas. Yeah. And so there's just this big, huge thing, and they are going to... And that's when you get the reveal that Jimmy Olsen has been infected by Kryptonian DNA, and it's basically taken him over in a lot of ways, and it's really corrupted him. And he's trying to remake Krypton on Earth, and he's looking... Part of what he's been doing with this whole thing with bringing in each superhero to do tests on them is he's looking for Superman. He's looking for Kal-El to find out who has the DNA that they can then breed true and redo Krypton there, which is a very thematically for DC and Superman. It's always, hey, we got to redo. I mean, Superman and Lois just did this arc. I mean, absolutely.
That's what I was just going to say.
It's over and over and over again. We've come to your planet. Now we're going to reseed. I mean, it was Man of Steel. They're going to change it to the Red Sun and kill all the humans and repopulate the Earth with... Are Kryptonians bad? Did we get the one good one?
I think some of them are, for sure. Some of them are really, really bad and think a lot of themselves and think they're superior as a race to everybody else, and therefore it's okay to exterminate everybody on this planet.
Invincible, Kirkman, man, he just nailed the Kryptonians.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point.
Universal conquest.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. Before this, though, the Kryptonians taking over the Earth. Well, first of all, let me back up. The blood, is it just that he's infected with the Kryptonian blood and therefore he's got some kind of weird drive that he wants to repopulate the Earth? Where's that? I don't know.
It gave him...
Where does that come from?
I don't remember. Again, it was not It was not the most clear comic on some of this stuff.
There's a lot going on.
Yes, there is a lot going on, and there was a lot of bloviating by him that I sometimes kind of gloss over.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, bad guy doing the this is what's going on.
Monologuing.
Yeah, he's monologue. Yeah, let him roll. Somehow he got infected, and he was. Oh, okay, it's coming back to me because it's dumb. Since he had been Elastalad, Turtle Boy, the giant whippersnapper. Oh, Red Menace or
Red Devil.
Red Devil, because he'd been those. He was more acclimated to be able to accept it, and it took to him a lot better because of that, because his genes had been messed with so many times. So he was able to be more powerful, and he was the true person, even though they were looking for the other one. He was the one, and it turns out in the end he wasn't. So the big battle occurs. It's going on, and that's when did they crash into the Amish, or
they were there, and well, real fast before we get to that, I just wanted to also, it was about Jimmy Olsen, and we were talking, and I completely am blanking again. Oh, you find out that, well, Jimmy's running the show, right? Lex Luthor is a puppet of Jimmy. Jimmy's been pulling the strings. You know, you have these supers that are in these kind of like outfits completely covering their face and torso and arms and legs. And I thought, and again, this is how little I remembered, I was trying to remember if it was still kind of like the DC animated universe show movie where one of them is Superman, and then these are all the bizarros that they're making. And no, it turns out Superman has been raised by the Amish, kept to himself, never used his powers, was told not to by
and did
his
not
family.
really even know he had these powers as much. I mean, he
never tested them.
Yeah, has no idea how to use them. Nothing about it. He's just big old. He's the blonde guy from Witness.
Oh, there you go. Just way overpowered and doesn't even know his own strength.
Yeah, that was a deep cut.
That was a deep cut. Wow. My brother ruined that movie for him. Was it? No, it wasn't Witness. It was the other one with Harrison Ford. Never mind. Different movie.
Okay.
Anyways, there's the big battle, and Jimmy, I think Superman somehow does a little something to intervene, so he figures out that that's Kal-El, and so he's trying to, on the spot, to say, hey, we're brothers, Kal-El, join me,
Yes.
let's make this new Krypton. And he says, no, my parents have told me, blah, blah, blah. And Jimmy says, oh, you're worried about your parents? I'm going to just vaporize them with my laser beam eyes. Right in front of Kal-El. And that doesn't sit well with old Kal.
Yeah.
So then the big battle ensues.
So in response to his parents being murdered in front of him, he forgets everything his parents ever taught him and murders in cold blood. No, it's not in cold blood. He justifiably reacts very poorly to his parents being murdered in front of his eyes and gets into a battle with Jimmy Olsen, which he wins partially because Jimmy Olsen starts to deteriorate.
Right, he couldn't handle all the Kryptonian power, and when he exerted himself, just like the Bizarro clones they made, he eventually burned out when he exerted himself to what he thought was his full potential or capability, and he essentially just withers away. And then you see the Justice League kind of say, "Hey, buddy, you're special, and maybe we could help you get acclimated to what's going to be your new life." And the Kents are there. They take him in, and then you kind of get a, albeit delayed, more regular Superman going forward for the second half of this story. Some notes I got, the JLA lineup is one of the classics, I think. It's Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Batman, Flash, Hawk Woman. It was Hawkman at a time, but he got killed too back in that same battle where Ollie Green Arrow was gravely injured, and Martian Manhunter. Kind of a classic lineup minus Superman and Hawkman, which I kind of like. So I just wanted to mention that. Oh, the other thing, you have the Outsiders that was formed after that happened to Ollie by Black Canary. In the of course the regular DC universe, the Outsiders are founded by Batman when he's fed up with the JLA. But it's a lot of the same folks. You got Black Lightning, Geoforce, Katana, Metamorpho, who's manipulated by Jimmy to do bad things, unfortunately, and Shade. So you also, I'm just going through some bullet points.
I don't know any of those people, by the way. I really didn't know any of those characters that when I was reading. I knew
Really?
Canary, and that was pretty much it. Yeah, I'm not that.
Katana?
I knew Katana. Okay, but
Okay.
not. I don't really know Metamorpho or any of those others you mentioned.
No, they're
There's
cool
a.
characters.
I'm sure they are. There's a deep bench at DC, and I am not familiar with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because not so much because they created so many characters. It's just that hey, this comic company went out of business. Let's write their comics now.
Some of them are just straight up DC properties, but some of them is Shade a Charles? I don't even remember now. But anyways, Shade is on that team too, I think. Yeah, and well, speaking of deep benches, you get the Doom Patrol in the second half that we already talked about.
Yes.
Oh, and then in this first arc of the Nail, another Nail is a sequel, if you will, made in 2004. Original The Nail from 98, there's mention that the Green Lanterns are not involved at all because there's this force field put up around Earth, but also there's a whole bunch of hijinks and problems and a big war going on between Apocalypse and the name of the planet where the other new gods are that I'm blanking on.
New Genesis.
And so they're dealing with that. Thank you, New Genesis. Thank you.
Oh my God, I can't believe that popped into my head.
See, you do like the new gods.
No.
Yeah, you do.
No. What's the name of Darkseid's world?
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Okay, of course it is. Well, then that's why. Yeah, Apocalypse. Oh, can we work? Oh, never mind.
So the second half kind of goes into why the Green Lanterns
King
are
Kirby,
battling.
Everybody.
Why do you hate Jack Kirby so much?
I do not hate Jack Kirby. I do think some of the things that I don't get some of the things that he's lauded for.
He liked the big, aliens manipulating us little puny humans here on Earth, like the Eternals.
He did,
like the
but
new
he
guys.
couldn't flesh out his ideas, and to me, they don't work because of that.
Well, we'll see about that when the Eternals movie comes out, won't we?
You mean when somebody completely different writes it?
But fleshes out the big ideas and makes them more nuanced.
Okay,
maybe.
well, based on the trailer that you haven't watched, I'm not going in with high expectations of this one.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, they're bound to lay an egg eventually, but I'll say it again, they pulled off Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm going to give everything a watch with an open mind.
Yes, but with the Guardians of the Galaxy, that was a idea that was not done by the great Jack the King Kirby. So you let a guy like James Gunn kind of have his way with it. Marvel's not letting some guy have their way with Kirby's stuff.
Okay, we'll see. I don't know.
I just wasn't that impressed with the trailer. It just did not speak to me.
And I have seen the trailer.
Now.
I've seen the trailer now, and it's fine. It doesn't give a lot away. I think they're holding stuff back.
Okay, you're supposed to hold stuff back in the trailer, but I was just saying, we'll see.
Okay, so the second part, so the end of the first part of just the Nail from 98 was the big reveal with Superman. The second part is, I think, fast forwarded a year or two, and Superman's growing into his role as Superman.
Mm-hmm. And he's exhausted.
Then you find out he hasn't taken a break. He doesn't really need to sleep. They're trying to convince him to take some time off, which he does, and guess who he ends up hanging out with? Miss Lois Lane.
I was going to say Ma and Pa Kent.
Well, at Ma and Pa Kent's farm in Smallville.
Because actually he goes to Smallville first, and then they call her in. Because
that's right. You're right.
They want him to get an alter ego because he doesn't have that. He's just Superman. So he goes there, and they call her in because they're like, we need some help with this. And when he shows up, he looks, that was a funny bit because he has all this hair and he's just this giant what have you, and she's like, well, let
maybe less is more.
Yeah, let me, the investigative reporter, I know a little bit about disguises, we'll do a little of this, and he can slouch, and here's some glasses, and then Superman was wearing glasses and slouching, because it's Clark Kent. Have you seen the webcomic that somebody was doing? I've seen a couple of their like little one things, and the whole idea is that everybody at the Daily Planet knows he's Superman because
they just play along.
Oh yeah, well they have to because he's like lifting up to get paper out from under the copier, and he's holding it up, and it's a cute little thing. There were a few comics I saw online once, and I was like, all right, that's a cute different world. It's because how do you know that's not Superman? I mean, come on. Although,
but you're right. They go ahead.
I was just going to say, it seems like in pretty much now, anytime they do superheroes on TV, other than Superman and Supergirl, they're like, yeah, everybody knows who it is. I mean, come on, you're not hiding anything.
It's not hard.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Titans. Pretty much everybody knows who Batman is and who Robin is. It's not that
What are
hard
you
to
talking
figure out.
about? Who would have the money in Gotham to pull all this stuff off? Come on. Oh, by the way, you were an acrobat, Dick Grayson.
Yes.
Only you can do certain things
Yeah.
like that. You also, in the second part, you get the Doom Patrol involved. You get more and more. You find out Adam Strange. Did you know Adam Strange from DC Comics?
I have seen him here or there, just not very much.
You find out because of the force field that was put up, he dies when he's trying to use his beta ray to come back from the far-flung planet of Ran.
Oh, I missed that.
And so,
wow.
Yeah, so he just smacked up against the force field and died in orbit.
And the giant orb on Oa, is it Oa? The Guardians, where the Guardians are?
Oa, that's how I say it.
Okay, Oa it's depleting. There's an energy drain on it, and they don't know what that is. And they're trying to figure it out, and they decide that they have to, they're going to take sides in the Great War between New Genesis and Apocalypse, which they've always stayed out of.
Right.
And that's going on. The dark side thinks that the Earth has attacked him because they sent a boom tube to Earth with people, and they were disintegrated because of the force field that Jimmy Olsen put up, which kind of started. All of this stuff kind of started with the Drain and the Green Lantern stuff during this. That's when they go and battle Apocalypse because weird things were going on due to that. This is where some of these comics there's just so much going on, and there's no delving into any one thing that
it would have. Go ahead.
You either need to write more comics and have it longer, or cut back on this. This is my massive pet peeve on this. It's just this endless battle after battle after battle after battle after battle, with just this microcosm of stuff going on. I mean, I enjoyed the arc of Batman going insane after murdering the Joker.
Right.
Well, because he murdered the Joker in the first arc because he was set up to kill the Joker. And this alien killed this, and that drove him a little crazy because he killed the Joker because the Joker murdered Batgirl and Robin in front of him while holding him captive with some sort of power gauntlets that were given to him by Jimmy Olsen.
Correct.
And then he finally flips over into catatonic insanity instead of just this insanity that he's always had. Got Batman cray cray.
Yeah. And then Catwoman turns into Batwoman and helps him out of his, deep depression, or tries to.
Yes, until whatever is going on. I still don't know what was going on in this comic. I know it was a giant amoeba that was sucking power.
There's something that Darkseid did, created this thing that was sucking power, and then Ollie gets involved. Green Arrow, they somehow harness the power of
love.
It Starro? Not
Starro.
Bizarre. Not Bizarre.
No, it wasn't it the Metamorpho or something? The Great Cornholio. Oh my God. Was it the Great Cornholio?
Oh my God, this is gonna kill me. Yeah, there's some entity. That's draining all. Oh, Mazo.
A Mazo. Okay.
Mazo.
Welcome to Hav Googles.
That was killing me.
Our special segment.
Yeah,
Hav Googles.
I had a synopsis. pulled up, but Amazo. So somehow Amazo is put together with Ollie, Green Arrow, so that he can sacrifice himself to save the day, which is his redemption arc. Mm-hmm. But you're right. Going to what you're saying. Okay, so the first, just the nail, I think, was very succinct.
Yes.
In a lot of ways, and just beginning, middle, end. This was trying to fill in some of the things that were mentioned in the periphery in the nail, and it just didn't. I like Alan Davis a lot. Didn't do that great of a job, to the point where it was a little confusing. There was a lot going on, and again, too many characters.
Well, yeah, they kept mashing up all these different worlds into one. Isn't that what was going on? Because they were it was pulling in all of these realities. So you were viewing
That's
all
right
of
too.
these separate realities at the same time, because I think they were explaining you had the Injustice League because Flash ended up in the world of the Injustice League, and he proved he was quicker than what's his name over there, Johnny Quick,
Whizzer,
the
or
Wizard.
Johnny Quick. I thought Whizzer, is it Whizzer or Johnny Quick? Anyways,
Okay,
they're
anyway,
Flash.
yes, he's over there, and they, interestingly enough, in that the one he went over there, they have Power Man or Uberman or whatever he's called over there.
Right,
They're evil
right.
Superman. So he was not raised by the Amish to be an evil Amish Superman. Well, maybe he was. Ooh, now see, that's the comic I want to read.
What?
Evil Amish Superman. That is
Evil
right.
Amish Wolverine.
Yeah, that is right out of Zack Snyder has his next movie. Release the Snyder Amish evil Superman movie. You want
Oh, he'll
dark?
do it.
I'll give you dark.
Oh, he'll do it. He'll do it. Yeah. The second half is not as good as the first half. Another Nail, not as cogent, tight a story as the first. In fact, to the point where had I had time, I wanted to do another quick reread scan because I didn't get a good understanding of why the thing with Apocalypse that Darkseid did created this limbo cell amoeba thing that was draining everything and merging all these realities together.
He was looking
like
for
it
the
just
one.
happened.
He was looking for the one.
Okay.
Yeah. Look.
Yeah.
They say either go big or go home. I kind of feel like the second half this should have gone home.
That's why, you know what, when I recommended this, I thought we were just going to read the Nail, and then the collection we got was both of them that just kind of ran together. The big reveal at the end is of the Nail is when Superman is Amish and he stops Jimmy Olsen. And in this one, like I said, is trying to piece together all the little Easter eggs that were kind of mentioned in the Nail. And look, it was okay. It just wasn't as good as the original.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think. So I mean,
I did,
maybe worth a
did
reread,
still
but
like
there's
it.
just a lot going on.
Yeah, I think
I do too.
literally think there's too much going on. I think if they had if he had streamlined that a little bit, I just think there was way too much. And again, like I said, it's either there was way too much or not fleshed out enough in that, so it had to be way more. It needed to be either edited down or vastly expanded. And they weren't going to vastly expand it, and clearly he has enough pull, and there are enough people at DC, because they do this all the time in some of these big things. They just try to cram too much into it. It seems to be a kind of a DC problem.
To piggyback on that, I think you're absolutely right. Yes, I think the Nail being those 3-issue maxi series, maxi whatever edition, bigger than your usual issue, worked for this. Another Nail, given that there was so much going on. If they would have done it kind of like a 12-issue series,
that might have worked.
I bet you it would have, because it would have taken. You could have paced it. And you could have spent time developing all this stuff because, it did feel almost rushed and crammed and trying to explain a lot of stuff going on about, the space-time continuum merging between all the different... You had the Black Hawk Squadron from World War II showing up and...
there was some
everything
fun
from
stuff
that, Dead Man. And you also had the part where all the supernatural supers from DC make a quick appearance just to say, "Oh, we can't get involved in this." The Spectre tells everybody, "Hey, I know reality is maybe going to end, but everybody, we're on the bench on this one. Otherwise, you got to deal with me." So, Dr. Fate, Phantom Stranger, the Demon, and supposedly Dead Man, although he does get involved a little bit at the end, are all on the bench on this one because the Spectre, for some reason, said, and I don't remember why, just said, "We're sitting this one out, guys."
That was more
kind of a cop out.
That was him manipulating it as well, though.
Oh yeah, because he wanted certain things to happen.
He needed certain things to happen a certain way because he knew what needed to happen, and if they got involved, it probably would not have happened. Is what I took from that. But so I don't know. Yeah. You got anything else on this? I don't really have.
No, I like I said, the first one, just the Nail. I enjoyed and I liked and I remembered it more and more as I got into it and did like it. The second one, Another Nail, a few years later, good idea. My takeaway, like I said, stealing your idea or piggybacking on yours, could have been great if it would have been. I think at least 12, like a 12-issue, 6-issue, maybe 12-issue thing.
I did not say it could be great. I just want to. I want to go on the record there as I have not said that I think it could be great because it still has all the theme. It has all the things about DC and even Marvel when they take these type of things. It's not my cup of tea. in my opinion, I don't think it could have
Well,
been great, but it could have been a lot better read than it was in that second half.
you also don't like Jack the King Kirby. So
I did
never
not say I don't like Jack Kirby. I have never said I don't like Jack Kirby. I have, however, pointed out that no one is above criticism, except you, of course, have.
Thank you.
And your
Okay,
lustrous
that was
beard.
that was close. That's it. I do like Alan Davis. I like his art. So just there's that too.
Yeah, the art was
Uh,
great. The art was great.
so then you suggested we read another kind of alternate post-apocalyptic dystopian future thing, Wolverine, Old Man Logan.
You evidently have a theme going on.
You do. You really do.
It's been a hard year, Hav. Cut me some
been longer than
fucking slack.
It's been longer than a year, dude. It's been going on a year and a half, going
Oh,
on 2.
dude.
God
My
damn it.
hard year started even before that, so.
Right. No, it's
My
been,
friend had a brain tumor.
Right.
My
That
dad had
sucks.
had a stroke. Anyway,
You had knee surgery?
oh yeah, well that was the knee surgery. That just got me off. Hey, that got me a day off work. That's right. I took a day off work. In fairness, I
You're a
actually took.
man.
No, because I didn't have. I had one sick day, so I took the sick day. I took my day off, and then I went back to work.
Yeah.
I had just started a new job. They were very
Yeah.
nice to me. I hobbled around on crutches the day I got there, and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" They had a supervisor kind of shadowing me. He was cool. He would show up, just, "Hey, oh no, why don't you let me help you with this?" It's like, okay, you rock. And
Thank
he might
you.
be listening to this. Thank you, Marco.
So you're for better or worse, or purposely or not, this is in the Wolverine series at the time, which is the second series, I think. Anyways, it's issues. I wrote this down: 66 through 72, 8 issues. Wolverine is old, as
Yes.
the title implies.
Yeah, no,
And-
it's not the title of Old Man Logan is the title.
Yeah. No, the title is Old Man Logan. It doesn't imply it. It says it. He's
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
And we're living in a shitscape of America. Holy crap. Things
yeah.
have gone south.
Trump won again.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
The basic premise is that
Go ahead.
the bad guys realized there were many more of them than there were of the superheroes, and they got organized and they exterminated the superheroes, and then they split it appears that they've split up the United States, and there was kind of a comment about there not really being anything else. So they split up the United States, and everything else is kind of gone. So what kind of battles were going on in the other parts of the world?
Oh, I don't remember that. Them
Oh
saying
yeah,
that this
I forget
just,
who
no.
made that comment. Well, there's not really anything left in anywhere. There's nothing worth having anywhere else. So who knows? The rest of the world might be cut up in a different way, but it is a dystopian hellscape. And Wolverine lives on a farm in Sacramento, California, or outside Sacramento, California, where he raises pigs with his wife and 2 children.
One of whom is named Scotty, which is a nice thing. His
Ew.
boy is named Scotty.
Really? I totally missed that.
Scott.
Boy.
Yeah. Well, hey, get this. So you're talking about how they divided it up, but they're talking about the president and the president's quarter being on the East Coast, and they don't right away reveal what happened, but they slowly do. That, you know, the bad guys all got together, like you said. I did not. I was having trouble figuring out who the president was until they kind of just made it abundantly clear that it was, and I'll say it if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. It's the
I
Red
know you
Skull.
hate me revealing.
Haha.
It's the Red Skull. I didn't. I was like, okay, I wonder, was it Magneto? No. Was it? Because they mentioned that.
Yeah, at this point in the
Magneto
story,
lost something,
Magneto's
I think.
dead.
Yeah, they'd off Magneto. Hulk is in charge of the West Coast.
Yeah, Hulk took over the
Um,
West Coast from someone else because he got tired and did it. And Hulk is now an inbred redneck who they eat people,
That shit crazy.
and he
Yeah.
sleeps with his family. He bred with his woman,
Cousin.
his cousin, She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Yep. Which means she went along with it too.
I don't know. I guess.
And there's some mention at some point towards the end that the gamma radiation
May have messed
Maybe-
his brain up.
made him go crazy, and crazy to the point where now he's a super bad guy. Oh, he takes over the West Coast from the Abomination.
Yes.
They do mention that.
Okay.
One of his arch nemesis. The middle right to the east of that, kind of like the strip, if you will, like, I don't know what that weird strip is, like Utah.
Yeah, Vegas.
South Dakota,
It's
North Dakota,
Magneto.
Vegas. It was Magneto, but now it's Kingpin.
Well, but it's not our Kingpin.
No,
Yeah, it's not the Kingpin you
it's
know.
not.
It turns out to be somebody else because the Kingpin took over as Magneto got old, killed Magneto, because that's how you take these things over is you kill someone.
Right.
So they are falling behind on rent. Something happened. The pigs died, or they couldn't sell their pigs.
Wolverine. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Wolverine, and they can't pay their rent, and they have to pay rent to the Hulk clan. And if you don't pay your rent, the Hulk clan kills you. So
Probably eats you.
yeah, so they show up. A group of the Hulk Utes shows up in the Fantasticar. Did you catch that one? I loved that. So
Yeah.
they drive up in the Fantasticar, and they get up and they're explaining is it one of his daughters or granddaughters that's
Something.
talking,
Yeah.
and they've got the heavies, and they're like, well, you're gonna have to take your they sent I brought them along because you're Wolverine, and I brought them along, but you're gonna have to take your punishment. And they beat the crap out of him, and he takes it. He takes a beating because he is a pacifist now. He will not pop his claws. He will, yeah. He has sworn to never do that.
Yeah, and you find out why eventually, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
is rough.
Oh, it is very rough.
So he's at the
Do it.
the mansion, and he thinks that all the bad guys have brought to bear against him all the baddest that they could, and he's the best at what he does. So he proceeds to lay waste to this who's who of the baddest of the bad guys until the very end, when you find out Mysterio has been manipulating his mind, and he's killed everybody in the mansion. And I mean everybody. And he, of course, goes crazy with grief and wanders. I think they say he wanders around for a while, and then he finds himself out, sometime later, and he's vowed to never again.
This is 50 years later. After that, something like that.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it is a chunk of time. He's old. The ages kind of don't work with some of the people because he can go 50 years and whatever. And after hearing about it, Hawkeye shows up to his home and offers him $500 if he'll be his eyes as they drive to New York to deliver a package of drugs. Well, he doesn't say drugs, but Hawkeye is a drug delivery guy now. He's a drug mule. So that's what the assumption is, that it's drugs. And the giveaway is actually it is drugs, but not the kind you think it is. So he agrees.
And Hawkeye's blind at this point.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing. Hawkeye's blind. I guess they're completely forgetting that Hawkeye was already deaf. So is Hawkeye a pinball wizard?
Hawkeye's deaf? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
Hawkeye's always been deaf. You didn't know Hawkeye was
No, I
deaf?
didn't. No.
Hawkeye's deaf.
Did not know that.
Okay. Well, now you know.
Okay.
So
No, I don't know.
He's a deaf, dumb, blind kid.
And plays a mean pinball.
Yes, he probably does. I mean, with his magic arrow action. So they, knowing he'll be able to be back in the 4 weeks that he has, that
To
they
get the
can
rent
do-
together.
to get the rent together and come back. He agrees that he will do it, and he'll drive. And so they go out, and they're about to take the Spider-Mobile across the country. And yes, it is the Spider-Mobile.
Yeah, it is.
Built by Johnny
it is.
Storm and driven by Spider-Man.
Peter Parker.
Yeah. So they're going to head across.
Speaking of Peter. Oh, go ahead.
So they're going to head across, and it's great because Hawkeye's driving even though he's blind. And as he says, hey, it's my car, and I just brought you along to read the map. Nudge my hand if you need to. So,
and of course, almost right away, they're driving Peter's old Spider-Mobile, and then they're at some stop in the Vegas area or thereabouts, and they find out that Hawkeye's daughter, who's by his ex-wife, who is Peter Parker's daughter. So Hawkeye's ex-wife is Peter Parker's daughter. And Hawkeye's daughter is now a captive of the Kingpin. And
do you know
of course,
who her mother was?
I just got down Tanya.
Okay, so you don't know who. They don't reveal this later in other comics. They reveal that Peter Parker had a daughter with Power Man and Jessica Jones's daughter.
Alrighty then.
Yes, this gets weird. This is a lot of fun. I've read a bunch of the other stuff that because they actually came out with some. There is a run that's just Old Man Logan. It's not in the Wolverine thing, and then they bring him back into the Marvel universe, and there's been some fun stuff. So you learn even more about his backstory, which I will not get into because there's plenty to talk about in this that we're talking about now. So yeah, they go out there and find out that she's gone off to she's put together a band of superheroes, and they've gone to Vegas to take it to the
Kill the
Kingpin.
Kingpin.
Yeah, kill the Kingpin.
Yeah,
Take it to him.
She's got a Daredevil and she's got a Punisher with her, and she's Ashley. And then you find out she wanted to get captured because she wants to be the new big bad in that region.
And she knew Hawkeye would come save her. So she kills the Kingpin and then chases her father and Wolverine to.
And they got to get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah, they take off. And then, then they get away when they crash into the Moloids.
Yeah, the Moloids.
Yeah, is that part? Is that where that happens? Is they're being chased by all those people? Yeah,
the people from the underground, kind of like that bad guy from
Mole Man.
Fantastic Four, Mole Man.
Yeah.
But they're mutated and now they eat people. I don't know if they always ate people. Do you know?
I don't know. But in this dystopian hellscape that Charles has created, I mean, has forced you to read, they eat people.
Yeah.
So they run
into a venom dinosaur, man.
What
the hell?
I loved that. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's around when they run into the venom dinosaur, and then they run into Emma Frost.
Yeah, Emma Frost saves them for that because she has married Black Bolt, the Inhuman.
Yeah, she has.
And she sends Black Bolt out, and Black Bolt's just standing there in the road. And if any of y'all listening aren't familiar, Black Bolt he's the king of the Inhumans, right?
Correct.
Or he was, and his power is his voice is just will destroy you. He can with a word. If he speaks, so he's he's waiting, they drive past him, and he looks up and whispers, stop to the Venom Tyrannosaurus Rex. And sound is not, if you're not familiar, Venom does not react well to sonic type vibrations. And it is a great splash page of the Venom symbiote exploding off of a dinosaur that's flinging itself backwards.
Right. So they find some refuge with Emma and her clan.
And she fixes up the Spider-Mobile.
She does, and Wolverine mentions that she's looking pretty good. And she says, "Well, everybody's seeing me the way I want them to see me.
Yeah.
Remember who you're dealing with here.
Yeah, nothing here is what it seems.
Telepath.
Yeah."
And she also mentioned something interesting. I don't know if you remember this part. Did you read this recently, or did you read it a while back?
I reread everything, even that I've read. So I read it this week.
Okay, no. So, well, sometimes I know when we're reading stuff, you'll have read it like 2 or 3 weeks prior.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
There's
I literally read all of this. I think I read this. I finished it yesterday. It didn't take me long to read it because it's picture books, Hop.
Always minimizing. Well, she mentions that the mutant thing that her and Wolverine were, of course, a part of was just a blip. I have that in quotes. That the mutants came and went, and then there just weren't many more. It was just a period in time where all these mutants. There was a little mutant explosion in the populace, and it just kind of stopped.
Yeah, they weren't the next wave. They weren't the next wave of humanity. They were just a mutation that did not achieve what sometimes mutations achieve, and then seemed to be dying off. Well, they keep doing that in the Marvel Universe anyway, because they'll wane, they'll get down to no mutants, and then some will come back, and some will, So this
no more mutants. They did the no more mutants thing for a while.
And the whole Homo superior thing was always just kind of fucking stupid. It's just a mutation. It's like you have an extra finger.
Yeah, but extra finger versus being able to shoot laser beams out of your eyes, heat rays out of your eyes,
but
like
that's so
Gail
lame.
Simone will tell you.
It's just the most lame superhero of all time. And anybody that likes him, well, actually, the only people I know that like him are pretty cool, so maybe it's me that's wrong. Anyway, oh, God.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe it's me that's wrong. No, it's Hav and Caesar.
That can't be right.
Hav and Caesar are wrong. That's correct.
There you go. Okay, you're okay. Take a breath. Everything's okay. Spider-Man's better.
Well, that's without saying that Spider-Man's better. I'm saying that maybe Cyclops has value.
I don't even remember now, because I did make a little hand-drawn map. There's another part. They're in the Forbidden Quarter for Amazonas, and there's a little thing. The map they show, there's a dot that says Creehaven. There's a negative zone opening on the map. And then there's Houston and San Antonio for some reason.
Well, yes, but
I saw that.
Did you see what's in Dallas?
What was Dallas? Is that the Creehaven? Where was it?
No,
Dallas?
It's like an open negative. It's like
that's a negative zone.
Yeah, that's
Dallas
DFW. Yeah,
perfect.
It's the negative zone.
Great. And then going from west to east, it's kind of Chicago land area, up and down. From the Gulf up to the Great Lakes is the Dr. Doom's area. So that's got to be fun.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, they didn't go through that. They didn't do
They, or,
anything in there. That was
no, I
wise
don't think
because
they
you don't want to
did.
piddle around with Doom.
No,
You
no. And
really
then they
don't.
also, on the map, there's Osborn's area. Norman Osborn, I guess,
Yeah. Well,
has got a little part.
my favorite was Pym Falls.
Yeah, oh god, that was okay. Speaking of freaking dark, man,
Yes,
why do they call it Pim Falls?
you'll see. No,
You'll see.
didn't he say you'll see? Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the
what
next
you
is a
see,
splash page.
Yes, the splash page of dead giant man decomposed. It's just this gigantic skeleton lying there. So it's Pym Falls.
Yeah.
I was so proud of the writers and the artist on that.
That was good.
That was just so darkly wonderful. So yeah, so they're good. They're making their way across the country. They're leaving Death and Destruction back, and Wolverine is not really participating, other than when he saves him by driving the car. And he keeps telling him, "I'm not gonna pop the claws. I'm not gonna pop the claws. It's not gonna happen." So they finally get to Washington D.C., and it is everything.
Is it DC or New York? I don't even know. It's just the
Well, it
president's
was the White
quarter.
House.
We're East Coast. Okay,
Well,
you're right. It is the White House. Go
So
ahead.
it has
You're
to be
right.
DC.
You're right.
So they get to D.C. and they're meeting who he's going to meet, and boy howdy, the DC is everything from some right winger's fever dream of how bad a city could be.
Yeah, because it's run by the Red Skull, and
Yeah.
there's swastikas everywhere.
Yeah, we're not going to have our moment of politics. We already had our moment of socialism. So anyway, they meet. They meet with the people that have the stuff to give the drugs to, and it turns out that it is 50 vials, something like that,
Yeah.
of super soldier
Or
serum.
no, 99 vials. I have
99 vials.
99
Sorry,
vials.
I knew it was a large number, and I don't know why. I knew. Okay, 99 vials of super soldier serum, i.e., that which created Captain America. And it is for an underground because they're going to build a team of super soldiers and take back the country. And
it turns out it's a sting operation.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just surprised you didn't start with, okay, we're going to talk about Old Man Logan. It's with an old Wolverine. They're going to do a journey, and at the end of it, it's going to be a sting for Super Soldier. Yeah, it was
I
the
waited.
Red Skull's
I waited
people.
a little bit.
Yeah, no, you did. You waited till the time to say it.
I did good, Charles.
You did
I did real good.
You did real good.
Can I pet the bunny, Charles?
Yeah, Lenny, go ahead, pet the bunny.
Anyways.
I'll get us a new bunny. So it's a sting, and they murder them. They kill Hawkeye, and they kill Wolverine. And that's where it ends.
Presumably.
That's where it ends.
That's a really weird way for it to end. But yeah.
It was abrupt. It was shocking. I mean, I personally was thinking, doesn't he have some sort of healing factor or something? How can this just be the end? But they're like, nope.
I was shocked when they killed Hawkeye. I really was shocked.
Yeah,
I did not see that
shocked
coming.
as crap when they killed Hawkeye the first. I was like,
because his only thing is, I'm going to give you this. I just want one of them because I want to help bring about the revolution. And they're like, oh, you stupid little man.
Yeah,
you've been a pawn, and they shoot him in the head nope, you're dead.
Yeah,
and I was like,
well,
holy crap.
Fascists.
Okay,
that's how fascists do. It just it was very shocking. And this is the Hawkeye I love. This is clearly the Hawkeye we read in that arc, and all of this Hawkeye stuff that I have become just such a silly Hawkeye fan since then, and with this in the same way. That's one of the reasons I like this. They also did an Old Man Hawkeye.
Oh, really?
That's worth reading. Maybe we'll read that. I read that recently. I found that. That's fun too. Same world, obviously. So he's dead. They are dragging the bodies in to show to the Red Skull. And the Red Skull has a trophy room. A creepy, macabre trophy room. And he is wearing Captain America's uniform because he says in olden times they wore the skins of their enemies. And this is no different. I get power from doing this. My wife says it's weird. Yeah, your wife is right, dude. You creepy son of a gun.
Who the fuck is he married to?
They drop that in. My wife says, and I thought that. I'm like, man, they're leaving out a whole thing right there. Now I just want to know about that's the WandaVision show I want to see on Marvel. Next is the family life of the Red Skull in the Old Man Logan universe.
Yeah, please,
just
with a theme song and everything.
Just do a 60s sitcom of the Red Skull at home in the White House with his wife.
Right, it could be like that 70s show, and because his name is Red in that 70s show.
Sure.
Oh, Red.
Sure, yeah.
Not again.
That could work.
Well, that trophy room, by the way, and I thought I took some screenshots, but I can't find them, so I'm not going to worry about it. But it is got everything. And I mean everything, like Captain America's shield. I think there's the skin of Beast. Just it's trophies of all your favorites, and it's really just gross and sad and ugh.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So they bring in the bodies to show him the bodies, and as they're looking at one of the bodies, they're like, sir, something weird." And I think he makes a comment about, "Well, yeah, it's a dead body." It's like, "No, but he seems to be. He seems to be getting better." It's like, "Yeah, it's Wolverine, bitches. It's what he
right.
do." And that's when he comes back alive. And now all of a sudden, the do no harm thing kind of ended when they shot his friend in front of him and murdered him.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
there's a pretty
Kind
decent
of.
fight scene where he and the Red Skull go at it, and he ends up with Cap's shield, he being Wolverine, ends up with Cap's shield, and the Red Skull looks him in the eye and says, "We broke you, you don't have the balls," or "You don't have the whatever he says." And the next scene is Wolverine taking the Red Skull's head off with the shield, and that is an awesome shot, by the way.
Yep.
It was
Yep.
just like, yeah, you flipped a switch on him. That's Wolverine.
You done messed up.
Yeah. And so then he realizes he doesn't have that long to get back with the money, and he's got money now. So he looks over, and one of the other things in there is Iron Man armor. So he straps on the Iron Man armor using his Avengers codes. I liked that, by the way.
Yeah.
The having the Avengers codes and being able to use that. And he goes flying back, and he's tearing his way across the country, and it's like, "We're running out of power, we're running out." He crash lands. He has to fight. He beats the crap out of two people who are trying to roll him, and he gets
And
home.
he's gonna make it in time. He's gonna make it in time.
He made it with 2 weeks to spare. He gets home, and the Hulk clan has killed his family. So he finds out that they killed his family. They
Two
decided
of like
not to wait.
the grandsons, two of the like named Jeb and Jebediah and stupid. I
Yeah.
mean, couldn't wait the extra 2 weeks and killed his family.
Yeah, that's what he's told. And then they're like, "Well, you can just you can't do anything. They're going to come down on the rest of us. You're just going to have to take it. You're going to have to." And well, let's just say, remember, I said it flipped the switch and we got Wolverine back. He's not just going to take it. This is one of the best epic, "I'm just going to kill all of you." This is John Wick, you shot his dog, except with Wolverine, and Wolverine is the best
And what he does.
at what he does.
And what he does is not very nice.
No, it's not. I mean, the two of them washing. He start with the two that killed his family. They're washing blood off in the river. They're talking, and they're just,
Yep.
"Oh well, da 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 da." And the next thing you see is one disappear, and then you see the body floating in the water.
Yeah. Then he goes after some of them in a bar, maybe.
Yeah, he goes into a bar
and then
because they're bragging about what happened, and there you need to tell the bartender, you need to tell people they got to pay their stuff, and this is what happens. And then he kills them, and then he doesn't kill them. No, he gets them because they're the ones with the Fantasticar.
That's right.
There's a huge
Trap.
compound where Bruce Banner lives in a cave, and there's basically a trailer park of his family around it. So you see the Fantasticar coming flying up to it, and you realize they are the Hulks that he has captured are tied into it. And then as it gets closer and closer and closer, you realize it's rigged with explosives, and he just blows them all up.
Yeah.
He totally Gwenpools it. I can't use a sword,
Yeah,
so
does.
I'm going to explode you.
But I can explode them. Isn't there? Does he go to a brothel at one point, or they just show the Hulk's family at a brothel?
They show the
that's
Hulk's
what they
family
do.
at the brothel, I think, and maybe.
But
I
but
don't
Wolverine
remember.
doesn't go there.
I don't
know if
remember.
Wolverine goes there.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't remember that. I do remember there being a brothel,
Ugh.
and then he meets. Then Bruce comes out of the cave with
Bruce
basically.
is-
It's Bruce. It's old Bruce Banner, and
Yeah.
he's gleeful.
In a wife beater. You
Oh.
can't say wife beater anymore, Charles. In a just a tank
I'm
top
sorry.
t-shirt.
I was not aware that I said that.
Did
Sounded
you like
like
that?
you
Did you
in
like
my
when I did that?
ears.
Did you? What? Huh? But it's just Old Man Banner, crazy as a coot, in his tank top, white dirty T-shirt, and blue jeans, but somehow still super strong.
Oh yeah, he's got some Hulk power going on because he just casually knocks Wolverine like 10 feet. And I mean, literally just just flicks him and just whew, flies. And so then he explains, Banner, that he knew it was early and he sent his boys over there to do that to see if he could find the old Wolverine because he's bored. He's bored.
I was going to say he's bored.
He's
crazy.
Yeah. He's bored with being a landlord. He wants something worthy of his time again, and so he needs somebody to fight. And so they fight.
And then big, good, very well drawn.
Oh man.
And a good knockdown, throwdown between the two big bads. I think.
Yes.
Really, when you think about it, maybe throw in Thor in there, I guess, but from the Marvel side of things, and it's good. And at the end, you think, oh no, because for some reason these Hulks, this iteration of Banner's Hulk and all his offspring, they just like eating people, Charles.
Yeah, no, they do eat people. Well, you're missing something. Before we get
what
there,
did I miss?
He was still Bruce Banner for a while until he cuts him. Because they're going
right.
standby, and so Wolverine's going to try to kill him, and he does. He takes the blades to him, and then the switch flips for Banner, and he said, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Now I'm angry," and then he pops the Hulk out, and then he does what Hav was talking about. He literally eats Wolverine.
Yep, and that's how it ends. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of just a dark ending.
Yeah, and I mean, you're all thinking again, like what I was thinking before. Wait, doesn't he have a healing factor? I mean, can't Wolverine heal? So in stumbles, as Hulk is laying there, all by himself. In stumbles another grandson or son, and he says, "Grandpa, what's going on? Where did you see? He killed everybody." And Bruce says, "I took care of it. It's all done." And he's like, but and then he brings up what Hav failed to evidently understand. He says, "But doesn't he have you ever eaten someone with a healing factor before?"
Right. Oh, that's right. I remember now.
He mentions that he has a tummy ache.
Right.
Yes.
He's got a rumbly tumbly.
I got a little rumbly tumbly. He's not going down easy.
Something's moving around in there. Something's not settling right.
Yes. And then, as you just expect, he erupts out of him, killing the Hulk.
Straight up alien, man.
Yeah.
Bursts out of him.
And then he
bursts out of him, takes care of Junior that's there.
Yeah.
But then
he realizes
you see that there's a baby Hulk.
Uh-huh.
There's a baby Hulk.
And then and is Hulk still alive at that point?
I don't
barely
think so, but
okay. Is there an interaction?
Hulk, because Hulk, speaking of healing factors,
yeah. Well,
Hulk's,
no, he must
Hulk's got one.
Yeah. So he turns towards the baby, and you don't know what's going to happen. And then they're at the funeral.
Is he gonna kill a baby?
Yeah,
is he gonna kill a baby?
You get a feeling of what is he going to do? And then they go, and then there's the funeral for his family, and they say, "Well, what are you going to do now?" And all of a sudden, he's Clint Eastwood, Unforgiven, you see a baby on his back, and he says, "Well, I'm just going to go off and ride off into the country and bring the law to them that needs it. And I've got the first member of my team right here." And there's
I was going to say he's going to Mandalorian this shit.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's the child. Holy crap.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian
have they ever done anything?
Stole Old Man Logan.
Or did they ever continue that part of it where he's just off dispensing justice with the baby and the babies?
I really wish they would, because that is really an excellent thing. Some of the best drawn just comic pages are those last bit. The funeral, him riding off, him with the baby.
So country movie.
It was
Western movie.
You're thinking Western movie. Sorry, it was Western. Is Western. Pure Western. Clint Eastwood, John Ford, is he one of the who I'm thinking of?
Oh yeah.
This is just Ford. It was just classic. Beautiful, classic Western, and done so well like that. And that's where we leave it. He has come back to himself. Oh, that was the line. That was the line I wanted to talk about. Something about what did he say? They killed me 50 years ago, but I got better.
Yeah.
And that really hit me, because that was the culmination of now he's better now. He's back to being who he is. So he's going to go take care of things. Did you like it?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Again, super dark,
Yeah.
super dystopian. And I'm blanking on this now that we're talking about it. There's a comic book where Wolverine is, Lone Wolf. Is that what it's called? When he's got a little baby on his back and it's kind of samurai-ish. They did a whole take on that. Remember?
Really?
Did you ever see any of
No,
that?
I never saw that.
I swear, I don't know. I'm confusing
Are
stuff.
you
Don't listen
sure
to me.
you're not thinking of the Mandalorian again?
Yeah, Lone Wolf and Cub.
Oh, okay.
There's a Lone Wolf and Cub, which is a takeoff of a samurai thing, I think. I'm not that savvy or knowledgeable about this stuff.
That's okay.
But of course, with the baby Hulk, that I thought of that too, and just didn't think of it. Japanese? No, it's just a Japanese manga series, and I swear there's been takeoffs of Wolverine doing it.
Okay, so that's something different. But you're thinking
It's something different, but
Okay.
I think maybe it's fan art. I don't know. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
they did something weird with Wolverine, kind of adapting it. But anyways, there's that.
Okay. Yeah, I just
maybe
loved those
think of
scenes. I just loved the shots of him there at the end as he's climbing onto a horse to go right off into the sunset to find another town with trouble. All right. Well,
No, and I think it was just me. It's me just inserting Wolverine. Somebody did some really cool fan art of inserting Wolverine into a Lone Wolf and Cub manga series.
okay.
So, yeah. But no, really, I did like it. I always say this, but, like I said, I'd love to see Wolverine and Baby Hulk, roaming the wastelands of this dystopian hellscape, dispensing justice, and him raising this baby Hulk to be like him and not his crazy granddad, and maybe try to stop him from going crazy. I don't,
Sure.
or
Is it
maybe
nature
Hulk
or
didn't
nurture?
die.
There's some more with that Hulk later, but it's in back when he drops back into our universe. So when he goes back in time, because this is major spoilers, a different universe. This is a different universe, Wolverine multiverse kind of thing. He ends up back in the 616, and he shows up after Wolverine died in the 616. So Wolverine is dead. So you're already talking about a different universe. How can a dead Wolverine kill all of the X-Men? And as the date approaches, he's doing things. He's there because he kind of wants to stop this from happening because he's there. So it was really a good. It was
Okay.
It's really well done. I like the character. He ends up in when X-23 is that
Something like that.
yeah the clone,
The one with two claws?
yeah, his clone with the foot
Yeah.
claws. Whatever
Yeah.
her name is. I love her. I love it when she was X-Men, and I've loved every arc I've read with her. He's in that. They do an arc with her and Honey Badger. Oh, Honey Badger is great. We might have to read that at some point. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, that's X-23.
Yeah, we are going to read that at some point. I just don't know when. I'm glad I thought about that. You have your list. I just pull these things out of my ear.
Okay, Charles. Okay. Did you hear me there? Say that again. You're saying you love her. You love X-23.
Yeah.
You love her
Yeah,
name.
we're going to read it
and-
at some point. And
Okay.
Honey Badger.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair.
So
Take it you liked it.
I did. I liked it. The first time I read it, I was like, "What?" And that's why I suggested it to you. And I think I've read it a couple other times before I suggested this, and we read it again. I'm liking it. I liked it again better with my newfound appreciation of Hawkeye, which
Good point.
I guess I should, honest to God, read some Cyclops stuff with my newfound appreciation for certain comic book characters.
Yeah.
Well, if you'd man
It's
up
just,
and
hey,
suggest
right,
something.
right person, right time. I don't know that there's a lot of good Cyclops stuff that's not just
See, you're
really
right.
enmeshed into the X-Men universe.
You're right. There's just not a lot of good Cyclops stuff. I'm glad we finally agree.
Solo Cyclops stuff is what I meant, and you know what I meant. But anyways. Hey, so just some takeaways. Not that we need to do a theme thing, but I will mention again, it's not that I'm worried about you and your gravitation towards these dystopian hellscapes, futures that are just so dark and so bad. So we've got, well, I guess Gwenpool really wasn't, although there was a virus involved. There was a virus that she was trying
but
to
that was just
to
good,
unleash on the
clean
world.
murder, man. Come on. That was good, clean
But then-
comic book murder all over the place.
Between this one and Why the Last Man, I think, yeah.
I don't know. Spider-Verse.
And
Not Spider-Verse. Spider Island.
Spider Island.
Yeah, Spider Island was a virus of sorts. A pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, dude. I told you. Rough year. The themes is Charles likes some dark stuff. The funny thing is, the thing I don't like about the DC universe is the darkness. because they don't have any light to it. And that's my problem. Not so much dark stuff. Clearly, I like dark comic books, but if any of these comic books that we read that are dark, they're not all dark, are they?
No, there's humor. There's humor in
there's
it. Good, well placed and well timed.
Yeah, because in life, even in the darkest time, Charles will make a joke at a funeral. Oh wait, that's
a little humor, a little levity in an otherwise serious situation sometimes is a good thing.
So I got a text from my brother this week on Tuesday because we talked about Y the Last Man on this, and he texted me, started watching Y the Last Man, and during episode 3, Rochelle, his wife, said, "So there are no women that can turn on the power?"
Boom.
Vindication.
Boom. You know what? And I haven't watched a lick of it.
Neither have I.
I need to.
Neither have I.
I don't know that. You know what? For me, like reading about it's one thing. I haven't watched Handmaid's Tale.
I watched the first episode of The Handmaid's Tale, and I thought it was really good. And then I was like, a little dark for me, and I have not watched any more. I need to go back because it really was. That first episode was just really,
I've
really
heard it's
good.
Great.
Yeah.
It's getting rave reviews.
But it's
I know.
real. Oh my God, it's so dark. Well, I mean, the book is dark.
The book is hey, I've read a book. I read that one.
Did you?
Wait, I did.
Okay.
A quick read too.
Yeah, no, it is.
Quick read.
Which is good. If it were longer, it would be. Well, I mean, it's a diary. It's so well written too. I mean, just wow. And you know where you can?
Hey, anything?
You know where you can get
a
copy of that?
No, Charles. Where?
You can get a copy of The Handmaid's Tale at the public library. The public library, where dystopia is free.
Because of socialism. You're welcome, America.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if we've mentioned this on this podcast or any podcast we've done, but we do have an email account. It's Hav and Charles Talk Comics at gmail.com. And we like mail. We actually had mail. We read it in the last podcast, which at the time of the recording of this, no one has heard because it's still not edited and is not due out for another week. But Hav and Charles Talk Comics at gmail.com. And hopefully we'll hear from y'all. We would love some suggestions. So I'm not just pulling stuff out of my ear, and maybe Hav is not just pulling stuff off this list of stuff he read when he was 14.
Exactly. Please. For the love of God. But hey,
we are also
we got some other things going on, but go ahead.
We have a lot of stuff going on. We also have Twitter pages, each of us. I'm at Herring Red Real, and he is
at Havgonzo Tweets.
Yes. And we are J and C Talk Comics at J and C Talk Comics on Twitter. Our intern posts stuff all the time. He does a horrible job. He's mean to Hav, which I like. He's also snarky to me, which I also like.
I think you do kind of like it.
He has not grown our Twitter following at all. I'm considering if there are any applications out there for some people that would like to work for free and grow it. I am open. You can send us an email at havandcharlestalkcomics@gmail.com. So in the last podcast, I think I mentioned that we were probably going to be wrapping up season 1 of the podcast. And we had a talk after we recorded our last podcast of what we're going to do. This is episode, remind me
12.
again. This is episode 12. And we're going to...
Podcast 13, episode 12, because you decided the one with Caesar about Black Widow didn't count as an episode. It was a special one-off.
It's a bonus pod.
Well, there you go. I'm just saying that there's been 13 podcasts. This is episode 12 that we just are kind of wrapping up now.
Yes, but there's going to be...
Confuses the ever-living you-know-what out of me.
Why is it confusing that...
Numbers are hard, okay?
I'm not saying that, but there's episodes and there's bonus episodes. The bonus episodes are, hey, we have a special guest that we're going to talk about something that's not the podcast type thing, even though it's comic book adjacent. It's not two comics. It's not the discussion. It's Caesar's coming on to talk about Black Widow with us that we saw in a theater. And we're going to do it again as soon as we can get together and watch another one of these movies that have come out. And we'll do that again.
Do you remember the theater?
I did. Yeah, I did. It was great. I don't think it'll.
It was awesome.
I don't think it'll ever happen again. I think the next one we'll watch will be at your house.
Yeah, maybe
on the TV. So we have decided we're going to do 14 episodes, and one bonus episode this season. So there will be 15 episodes out in season 1, but 14 of the linear ones that we're talking about right now. Our next one after this will be episode 13. And
Correct.
I suggested Hav read Marvel's 1602 by Neil Gaiman.
Correct.
And Hav has
And
suggested...
I suggested, Charles, you read Mouse Guard, the first volume of Mouse Guard, both of which available on Hoopla.
Yes.
So,
and y'all all know where
free.
you can get Hoopla. The Dallas Public Library. I don't know how many other libraries have it. I just do know the Dallas Public Library has it. So that's going to be that one. And in case any of y'all are reading along with us and would like to, for the final episode, we're doing a kind of a special thing because I suggested to him that he read Marvels, and he's
called Marvels. It's
Marvels. It's Marvels by Busick, whose first name just popped right out of my head.
Kurt Busick.
Thank you, Kurt Busick, great comic book writer. And Hav replied back.
And I had been thinking about this for a while, and because Avengers are one of my favorites, and he did Avengers Forever, Kurt Busick.
So we're just doing a Kurt Busick episode, basically. And so we're going to read Marvels and we're going to read Avengers Forever for the final episode of season 1. And it'll be fun. I have never read Avengers Forever. I'm sure, based on everything else I've read by Busick, I'll enjoy it. Did we start with? No. What was the season 1? I had you read Black Hammer and you had me read episode
Under
1.
Siege.
Under Siege. Yeah, so it was an Avengers.
It was an Avengers.
Yeah, we're bookending with the Avengers.
We are.
Oh, cool.
Hey, there you go. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And by that point, that'll take us right up into the holidays, pretty much.
Yeah, the episode 14 will be is scheduled to come out on Friday, the Friday after Halloween. Stupid. The Friday after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. So that's when that should drop. That's kind of why we're recording this one a lot earlier than we do, because I'm trying to get some of these in the can so I can get this scheduled out, because I don't know about the rest of the world, but sometimes the holidays get kind of hectic and you gotta do some stuff. So thought we would take a short break over Christmas.
Yeah, over the holidays, and Charles informed me in no uncertain terms that he, quote unquote, wasn't done with me. Because I was like, hey, this has been fun. I'm glad we did this. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. We're taking a break. It was just a break.
I do think I used the terms, I'm not done with you yet.
You did.
Yeah.
I remember kind of like, okay, God, sorry. Yes, sir.
Well,
just tell me when and where.
I thought
what you read. I'll be there.
You really sounded like you were like, oh, that was fun. We did a season's worth of podcasts. I guess we're done. I'm like, we're not done. Unless, of course,
no, and I didn't mean it that I figured we were going to pick it back up, but I didn't mean for you to take it like, well, hold on a second. We're not done. We're just done for the holidays. I mentioned that to Charles. I don't think I did this on a podcast. Yeah, we're going to have a break, and I've been reading just for fun here. Actually, had some time. I read a lot more of the Black Hammer universe, which has been great. Okay. When I mentioned, and just weird tangent at the end of this thing, I remember in the podcast about Black Hammer, there was the Golden Goose, and yes. I remember saying, I want to see more Golden Goose. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? In the future, in other things about Black Hammer, you get a little more Golden Goose. You darn right toot and do. And I was so happy. Yeah, I was so happy. Just a little bit. And you also get more about Sherlock Frankenstein, which I also mentioned. I wanted to see more Sherlock Frankenstein, and sure enough, they did a whole thing about Sherlock Frankenstein, and I was just so happy.
I want to know more about Sherlock Frankenstein.
From the Black Hammer universe, it's good.
Okay.
It's good. They do a lot to flesh out a lot of this stuff. So just a weird callback to something earlier in our podcast.
I forgot how good that was. God, I liked that.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was really good. We might have to talk about, maybe the last one, going back over, not necessarily ranking all of them, but talking about which ones were our favorites.
Okay.
We suggested you know.
Yeah. Oh, I won.
It's not a contest, Charles.
Well, that's only because I won, is why you're saying that.
It's what? Huh? Huh?
No.
No. You have to appreciate.
To be perfectly blunt, this is the opposite of what I normally do. Is if you'd have said anything like, "Well, I guess yours have been better overall," I'd have been, "Well, gee, Hav, it's not a competition." Meaning, because pretty much anytime I say it's not a competition, it means, well, of course it's not a competition. I'm winning. What's the point?
I won.
You're
I
no
won.
competition.
Yeah,
But it is
exactly.
literally
Well,
not a competition. It is a venue for
yeah,
us to be able to read comics and talk about them.
yeah. And, and sometimes the stuff, yes, I've mentioned before, and I'm not going to say the word, but some of it's because I remember it from when I was young, because I said nostalgia way too much the other day, or nostalgic. And there's that, but also, hey, reading stuff, time and place, it matters. And some of the stuff
Absolutely.
that's written now maybe will be dated, not nearly, hopefully, as badly as some of the stuff from the 80s and 70s that we read.
Man. And sometimes, too,
But you never know.
talking about that time and place, rereading Doom Patrol, knowing more about the author and what they've gone through made me like it a whole lot more. Made me see it with a
Because
whole new set of eyes and had meaning to it that I did not realize that was just saying that opened that whole comic up to me going, "Oh my gosh, this man
that's a good
is
point.
just
It cuts both
bleeding
ways.
into the page." So,
Yeah.
you are correct, sir.
So yeah, there we go. Hey, everybody, I think we're kind of wrapping up. Thank
Yes.
you, as always, for everybody that has listened and continues to listen. I really mean it. I really appreciate y'all listening. Charles and I are privy to some data that shows where and how many people are listening, but besides that, really don't know. So also, I just kind of curious who's listening and what you like and don't like, and I can take some criticism. So drop it on us through an email, please.
I absolutely can take criticism of Hav all day. I will hold him while he cries. It is all right. I can take criticism as well. I would actually really love to have some. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you're enjoying it. Let us know if you're not enjoying my drop-in library jokes. I can't tell if I'm overdoing them. I mean, I think I come and go on those, but I'm enjoying them.
I am. I
Okay.
almost want more, but that's me. I beat a dead horse on you.
Yeah,
I will beat a dead
will.
horse on you.
I'm at least trying to do it when I've got something. It's okay, and by the sound of the rubber chicken, you know that as every podcast, this too must come to an end. So thank you very much, everybody. Hav, thank you for joining me on here, and tune
Thanks,
in
Charles.
next
Thanks,
time.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.